Good morning. I'm Sherry Christenberry, your lay leader today, and this is the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Lower Bucks. So welcome. We know you come here for different reasons, sometimes to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to question, to nurture your heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find answers to some of your bigger questions. We welcome you to our Zoom cyberspace today. We know you come from different places and different religions, different beliefs, and different backgrounds. But here we hope you will find comfort, connection, maybe some challenge, hopefully inspiration and love. We're so glad you joined us this morning and hope you will stay for a few minutes after our service for some fellowship and conversation. For the month of April, our touchstone theme is Theological Reflection. Because theology in our tradition is not prescribed, it is incumbent upon each of us to build our own theology. By doing so, we create a more reliable internal compass that orients us to our true north. And by doing so, we're able to align our actions with our values. Theological reflection is an essential process to identify first principles, clarify values, take seriously that which we do not believe, explore those ideas that make us uncomfortable or challenge us, and ensure that our beliefs are life-enhancing. As Rilke said, sometimes it is necessary to live the questions in order to experience the answer in some distant time. Theological reflection is a lifelong endeavor. Today's sermon is from the Reverend Dr. Craig Rubano. Reverend Craig is the minister of the UU congregation of Monmouth County in Lincroft, New Jersey. He's been guest ministering with us since 2011, while he was pursuing Masters of Divinity in Theology and a PhD in Pastoral Theology at Princeton Theological Seminary. He was ordained to the ministry in 2018 by the UU congregation of Princeton. Craig is a graduate of Yale College and Columbia University, and he lives at the summit of 10 Mile Run Mountain, just north of Princeton, where he has helped to raise 2 nieces and 2 Nigerian dwarf goats. His sermon title today is Moving Toward Freedom. Memorialized in the story of Jesus of Nazareth riding a donkey into Jerusalem at Passover time, his followers waving palms, Palm Sunday, which is today, celebrates the living out of one's values in the public square. This morning we celebrate social justice as a linchpin of lifelong theological reflection on our place building a world of justice and peace. So now, let us enter into worship together. Love that bell. But even more, we love our fabulous musician, Avi Wisnia. We're so lucky to have him. Please listen to his prelude.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to start this morning with a call to action from none other than Bob Marley. In the everyday fight for justice and freedom for everyone, Bob Marley reminds us in his famous song to stand up for our rights, not to give up the fight. So wherever you are today, if you want to, feel free, get up, stand up, and join in this song with me. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think a great God will come from the skies. Take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on earth. So now you see the light. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitters is gold. Half the story has never been told. So now you see the light. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. 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 Don't give up the fight.
Thank you, Avi. What a great message. Please join me as Gil lights our chalice. We light this chalice as a beacon of hope for those who have gathered here this day, for all who have ever walked through our doors, for those who may yet find this spiritual home, and for those whose paths will never come our way. For all this, and for all those things we dare to hope and dream, we kindle our chalice flame this day. Our opening words today are from Reverend J. Abernathy Jr. Let us seek the quiet and the calm. Let us lay aside our loud calling. Let us lay aside our struggle. Speak softly. Let us listen to the melodies that recall other proportions. Our moments tarry not with us. Let us then seek the dimension that endures, beyond all nowness and here-ness, beyond all requirement and all particularity. Let us speak softly, that we may hear. Let us enter into the quiet. Beck Stow has a wonderful message for all ages.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Beck Stow, and our message for all ages this morning is we are all connected, caring for each other and the earth. Written by Gabby Garcia and illustrated by Natalia Jimenez Osario. We all live on one blue dot, spinning in space. We are all part of one human race. We have hopes and dreams and love in our hearts. We are stronger together than we are apart. So why all the fuss to compete and compare when it feels so much better to connect and to share? We can share when we're sad or down in the dumps. We can share our joys, give high fives or fist bumps. When we're seen and heard, trust blooms and grows. We are all connected. Kindness ripples and flows. Let's speak up for others, include and embrace. We all make mistakes. We can give others grace. We have more in common than we may believe. We are all connected. We all love. We all grieve. We can celebrate differences, lend a hand, learn from each other, take a stand. We are all connected. Let's raise our voices. we can work together to make brave choices. Protect the water, care for the land, respect all beings. The earth is grand. Nature gives her bounty, she is gentle yet mighty. Stand in awe of her force and preserve her beauty. Let's look under rocks and explore vast skies. Honor the mountains and chase butterflies. Let's go hunting for rainbows, plant more trees, grow a garden and be friends with bees. The earth is our home and needs our care. We all play a part, we breathe the same air. We belong to the earth, it's not ours. We are all connected. We are made of stars. We are all connected. Take care of each other. Take care of the earth. We are all here together.
Yes, we are. Now let's listen to Avi, who has a very meaningful interlude for us.
During this season, we tell a story of a particular people moving towards freedom. During the Jewish holiday of Passover that is soon coming up, we talk about the ancient Israelite people who were slaves in Egypt and who were set free on their way to a promised land. Before they could get to that promised land, they had to cross a vast sea before them. Now, as the story goes, a great miracle happened and the waters parted and they were able to walk through the sea on dry land onto the other side and on their way to freedom. But freedom itself is a miracle. As the saying goes in many social justice circles, none of us are free until we are all free. And freedom is something we should be grateful for. And so we can all picture ourselves as if we ourselves were freed from slavery with this song that I'd like to introduce to you. It was written by Peter and Ellen Allard. And it asks ourselves to picture ourselves on the shores of those waters as if we were on the other side fleeing towards freedom. And in fact, the words that the Israelites sang at the shores when they were so jubilant that they were free are these Hebrew words that you'll hear, mi chamocha. And of course, the chorus is freedom. And we can sing the word freedom, and if you're singing along, feel free to throw your hands up in the air and feel as if you yourselves were freed. Standing at the sea, micha mocha, standing at the sea, micha mocha, standing at the sea, micha mocha, freedom's on our way. Singing and dancing, micha mocha, singing and dancing, micha mocha, singing and dancing, micha mocha, freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Walking through the water, micha mocha, walking through the water, micha mocha, walking through the water, micha mocha, freedom's on our way. The sea she parts, micha mocha, the sea she parts, micha mocha, the sea she parts, micha mocha, freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. We're on the other side, micha mocha, we're on the other side, micha mocha, we're on the other side, micha mocha, freedom's on our way. We're going to a land, micha mocha, we're going to a land, micha mocha, we're going to a land, micha mocha, freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. One more time. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Freedom's on our way. Freedom's on our way.
Great. I think we often forget how important our freedom is. We take it for granted, but it certainly should be celebrated. Thank you, Avi. It is my great pleasure to introduce the Reverend Dr. Craig Rubano for his reading.
Hello, UU Fellowship of Lower Bucks. It has meant a lot to me to be invited to be with you throughout the congregational year, and this morning is no exception. It's good to be here for our reading. And in recognition of April being National Poetry Month, I offer a poem by Etta Hackle with a title all of us know something about after these past 2 years. Disruption. Life was following its own sacred rhythm when suddenly an accident interrupted the flow, changing everything, perhaps never to return to the accustomed way. Living in the now, in the face of uncertainty, living each day fully, one at a time, letting go of plans, disappointing others, yet still grateful it did not happen under worse circumstances, in unfamiliar surroundings. A reminder of transience, not to get attached to what has been comfortable or even familiarly uncomfortable.
Thank you, Reverend Craig. Talk about disruption. We have the situation in Ukraine where the children are in grave danger of physical harm, severe emotional distress, and mass displacement. Save the Children as an organization is concerned for these children. They're caught in the middle of armed conflict, forced from their homes in freezing temperatures and exposed to injury, hunger, and cold. Talk about disruption. Our donations to Save the Children's Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund can help provide immediate aid. Please be a part of this effort by contributing as generously as possible to help this very important humanitarian effort. And now back to Reverend Dr. Craig Rubano for his sermon.
If you grew up Christian, you might, as I, remember Palm Sunday as one of your favorite church services of the year. On that morning, the entire congregation would take the worship outside the doors of the building, carrying palms and our hymnals while singing All Glory, Laud, and Honor. Among its lyrics were, "To whom the lips of children made sweet hosannas ring." So as a kid, I felt included as we sang and marched, first in a big circle inside the sanctuary, and then encircling the building with our joyous music and enthusiasm. I remember there would often be quite cold. Since I grew up in Buenos Aires, we would be some distance into the fall season by Palm Sunday time. But the warmth of our singing warded off the chill in the air on those glorious mornings. Sometimes, because of the political climate, either internationally, the result of the policy decisions of English-speaking nations, or due to domestic agitations of one kind or another, my English-speaking congregation wasn't able to be outside, because to raise our voices in a foreign tongue would have made us a target of political violence. I was sad those years because I missed the excitement of taking our message to the streets. It was in those more scary times, however, that we inadvertently sidled up more closely to the biblical story we were reenacting. For if Palm Sunday has a central theme, it is precisely that delivering a message that flies in the face of the powers that be is risky business. It takes a special kind of courage and determination. Living one's values in public is justice work, and moving toward freedom is never easy. The teachings of Jesus of Nazareth were all about freedom and about love. He preached about humility. He comforted those who mourned, healed those who were sick. He sought justice for those at the margins of society. And he showed mercy for those who couldn't or didn't or wouldn't measure up to his ideals. He was a peacemaker, but was willing to confront power even when espousing freedom values put him in danger of persecution by Roman authorities and by religious purists alike. For 3 years, his ministry had restricted itself largely to the northern province of Galilee, an area known for radicalism, compared to the southern province of Judea, where Jerusalem had been under the iron fist of Rome for 25 long years. Jesus had built up a following across a wide swath of the outlying territory, advocating for the people in a time of empire. And with that following, he'd built a reputation that had not escaped the notice of the authorities. As the time of the Passover celebration drew near, with a fabled story of liberation from slavery in Egypt at the center of its ritual, crowds began to travel to the Jerusalem temple, the center of theological leadership for the Hebrew people. And Jesus decided that it was time to take his own message of liberation to the big city, to the very heart of power. The story goes that Jesus did not come quietly. Instead, in a mockery of the trumpet fanfares and grand parades of horses and military might that heralded the arrival of the Roman emperor to town, Jesus rode in on a lowly donkey, with ragtag crowds of supporters of all ages and genders waving palms, throwing their garments on the road for him to ride across, cheering him with cries of Hosanna, blessed is the King, the very words reserved for the emperor. Palm Sunday is a commemoration of a guerrilla street demonstration carried out at the heart of a city besieged with pilgrims. A protest staged happening that struck anxiety into Roman authorities already on edge during the Passover time. Within the week, Jesus would be executed as an agitator and his leadership silenced. That his message of love and hope and freedom would prove more powerful than death, well, that's the story of Easter. But I believe it's important to give Palm Sunday its due, for this day is a celebration of activism, of daring, of courage, and of conviction. Its message of love freely given and received, paired as it was in history with the Passover story of the deliverance of the Hebrew people, forms a powerful story of the price of freedom. It has always puzzled me that Palm Sunday isn't more commemorated in contemporary Unitarian Universalism, because at its heart, it is an advocation of so many of the principles we hold dear: the inherent dignity of all beings, justice, equity, and compassion, accepting of one another's differences, and an encouragement to spiritual growth that would fly in the face of religious purity. Indeed, a commitment to freedom of inquiry, to non-hierarchical process with goals of peace and freedom for all. Unachievable unless the interconnectivity among all peoples and creation is acknowledged and respected, and unless, as urged by the eighth principle being adopted by so many congregations, principled action against racism and other oppressions is taken. Palm Sunday is about action, taking the message to the streets. Palm Sunday is about showing up, about taking risks, about proclaiming the truth in the public square, with some pageantry thrown in. Sounds like UU to me. In my mind, I see us waving, if not palms, then handmade, homemade signs of our message, making some noise, siding with one another in the name of love and hope and freedom. I know that many of us have been especially disheartened that during this pandemic, so many social justice and initiatives of assistance have been disrupted, at least in some of the ways those actions typically have been deployed. But the fact is that the shortages of resources, financial strains, and even the locations of the hotspots of the virus have skewed along the same racial, gender identity, and ethnic lines that inequities in our country always do. So it is important that we have stayed on message, keeping our communities vibrant and connected and plugged in where it literally matters in our world. But it is also true that sometimes what can be needed most is for each of us to take care of ourselves by taking a deep breath, realizing that it's okay to be scared, getting adequate rest, and allowing time to reset to our world's constantly new realities. As civil rights activist and theologian Howard Thurman said, there is something in you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. It is the only true guide you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, you will spend your days on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. Listen for the sound of the genuine in you. Nurture it. Feed it. Rest it. And get ready to use it for the greater good. Together, even during swings of pandemic virtuality, we will continue moving toward freedom. We'll keep on building a land where, in the words of the prophet Amos of old, justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. I leave you with another poem, Breathe by Lynn Unger. Breathe, said the wind. How can I breathe at a time like this when the air is full of smoke, of burning tires, of burning lives? Just breathe, the wind insisted. Easy for you to say. If the weight of injustice is not wrapped around your throat, cutting off all air, I need you to breathe. I need you to breathe. Don't tell me to be calm when there are so many reasons to be angry, so much cause for despair. I did not say to be calm, said the wind. I said to breathe. We're going to need a lot of air to make this hurricane together. May it be so. This Palm Sunday and beyond.
Thank you, Reverend Craig. Great message. Now is the time in our service when we recognize and lift up one another in love. Let us be fully present and listen with open hearts and minds. If you wish to share on something, please click reactions and then click raise hand to help us help you unmute. If all else fails, please wave your hand and we will see you. Dawn and Marie, you can unmute now.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to introduce a new face that we have with us. My younger sister from California, Julie, has joined us this morning. So she's my joy today, and I'm happy to see her here with us today.
And it's from California?
Yeah. I grew up in San Diego and moved out here. And so she's still out there holding down the West Coast for us all, you know.
Well, thank you for joining us so early.
Yes.
On your time. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Are there any other joys or sorrows to share? It's good to see Colleen home.
There's Colleen. Okay.
You can unmute now, Colleen.
Hello, everybody. I'm back from knee replacement surgery, and it was a very good experience. It worked out really well, and I had some lovely visitors who came to see me, and my daughter's taking great care, as is my son. So I just want to say I'm very relieved and grateful for all that I have, and I'll be tap dancing soon. So that's who we are.
Yay. Is there anyone else? I would just like to say I have a joy, which is that I always call them my second parents, but Millie, who's 85, had been in the hospital last week, and she returned home on Friday. So that was a joy.
Elizabeth raised it for just a split second.
I don't see her. Anybody else? Okay. Well, whether or not you share today, there's always time after service if you think of something. But for your joys, we in this community join you in celebration. For any sorrows or concerns, may you feel our sympathy and our compassion. Let's pause for just a moment of gratitude, silent meditation, and prayer. I think you will enjoy our closing hymn. I'm always really excited when Beck Stow with the message for all ages, and when Avi are so in tune with what our speaker is speaking about. I think you'll enjoy this. Okay. All right, hang on. Let me do it. Okay? There we go.
Please join me in singing 3 verses of our closing hymn, number 121, We'll Build a Land. We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come build a land where siblings in spirit, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come build a land where siblings in spirit, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits, one faint and once weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come build that land, my people we seek. Come build a land where siblings in spirit, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Thank you, Avi, so much. Please join me as Gil extinguishes our chalice. We extinguish this chalice, flame, daring to carry forward the vision of this free faith, that freedom, reason, and justice will one day prevail in this nation and across the earth. Amen and blessed be. Gil. Let me do it. Okay. Our service is concluded, but please stay for some fellowship and conversation and discussion. You can unmute yourselves and participate in the chat function now.